This video is for brow and lip waxing. So we're gonna start as if we just got to work. What you're gonna do is always, upon arriving to work, is you're gonna wash your hands. So we're gonna wet our hands at the sink and we are going to wash them under the water with that liquid hand soap. We're gonna wash them down to our wrist, back of our hands down to our wrist. You're gonna wash your fingers and you're gonna wash the backs of your fingers. You're gonna wash your fingertips and your thumbs. You're gonna wash between your fingers. You're gonna wash between your fingers and your thumbs. You are gonna wash your thumbs. You are gonna wash your wrists. You're gonna do all of that for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. And you're gonna wash, rinse thoroughly underneath the water. And then go ahead and grab your disposable paper towel to turn the water off, and you are going to then thoroughly dry your hands off and discard your paper towels in your trash can. Once your hands are dried, you can get your hand sanitizer 70% and go ahead and wash your hands with your hand sanitizer. So you're all sanitized up. And 1 second, you are going to be good to go. I just have one thing. Sorry, my lips are super chapped. I'm doing these videos back to back, and they feel super dry. I don't think I can make it through this video without some hydration. So just stepping away for 1 second. I'm not stopping the video. Sorry, y'all. It's super difficult to get these videos in with my life. Okay. Side note. Then we have to go ahead and get ready for our first client of the day, which we are very excited to see, who is going to have a brow and a lip wax done. Those services, same client. So we need to get the room ready for your client. So how are you going to do that? You're going to disinfect your workstation, your bed, and your equipment using a disinfectant wipe following the manufacturer's instructions. You're going to check equipment to ensure that all devices are in safe working order and plugged into a working receptacle. You're going to gather clean supplies needed for the facial service, storing in a clean closed container, and then you're going to dispense products needed for the service. You will prepare disposable portion cups for each product with a portion of the product by opening the top of the container and ensuring the tip of the nozzle does not come into contact with a disposable portion cup or tray, or remove the product with a disinfected or clean single-use spatula. Close the lid to the product and set the portion cup or tray on the tray. You'll place disposable table paper on the disinfected bed to ensure that the wax does not fall onto the bed. And then I'm going to just review with everybody what we have here ready to go on our tray for waxing. And so what we have set up is we have cotton rounds. Also, we have some of those mesh squares. We have our pre-epilation remover. We have powder. We have our wax, which obviously is not really wax. It would be in a wax pot. We have remove, like to get the wax, excess wax off, and then we have post-epilation soothe down. We have tweezers. I have scissors here because I cut my wax strips. I've got different stick sizes to, obviously, different stick sizes to apply the wax to my client. I have tweezers because we're going to use that. I have disposable gloves because you always wear disposable gloves with your service. And then I have just paper towels extra, something that I might need during the service. So we are going to, we've got our bed prepared. And what we have to do now is when our client arrives, meet with our client first and do a client consultation before we can get them ready to see if it's possible for us to perform the service on them. So let's talk about meeting our client. And when we go to meet our client, We're always going with clean hands. We've cleaned our hands to prepare the room when we first get to work, but make sure that you have clean hands when you meet with your client, no matter what. You're going to greet your client and escort them to the work area. You will assess the client's current style. You'll determine the client's preferences, and you'll assess the client's needs. You will assess the client's skin by performing a visual skin analysis to ensure that there is no inflamed, infected, broken, raised, or swollen skin in the area to be worked on, or an open wound or sore in the area to be worked on, infection or infestation like lice, to prevent from safely performing the service. You'll assess the client's consultation form for any medications and products that they've used within the last 72 hours, and you'll consult on any known allergies. Super, super important. Consult with the client on any facial surgeries within the last 3 months, and if the client is under a physician's care. Assess if the client is prone to cold sores or fever blisters. Assess if the client has used exfoliating or lightening agents within the last 72 hours, like alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids, hydroquinone, etc. Assess facial injections within the last 3 weeks, like Botox or hyaluronic fillers. If the client is free from any of those contraindications, you can proceed with the service. And she is totally set, so we are going to get her set up and comfortable before we wash our hands and put our gloves on. So let's get our client nice and cozy. And my client, you should know by now, is named Sue. My daughter named her, and I like it. And since I don't get to see my daughter very much right now because I'm making videos, I'm going to talk about it. So Sue here is going to get really cozy on the bench. You don't have to disrobe for waxing your brow and your lip, but we want her to be cozy. So I'm going to take a rolled towel and place it underneath her head, and I'm going to get a nice headband here to pull her hair back. And I'm pulling her hair back. I'm covering up her ears, and I am going to make sure that hair is out of the way. So she is really happy and good to go. And then I'm also going to get this gorgeous drape and towel and lay it across her décolleté and clothing. So if her skin's out or décolleté, etc., make sure that you get everything covered up for her. So that being said, she's covered. Everything is great. We are going to get going on the next step for us. So what we want to do is, before we even think about getting started, we are going to go ahead and wash our hands. So we've got her cozy. We're going to get our hands wet in the sink. We're going to find that liquid hand soap. We're going to rub our hands together down to the wrist, and we're going to rub the back of our hands down to the wrist. We're going to rub our fingers. We are going to rub the back of our fingers. We're going to wash our fingertips and thumbs. We are going to wash between our fingers and our thumbs. We're going to wash our thumbs. We are going to wash our wrists. You do that for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds, and then you're going to do rinse, rinse, rinse underneath the water. Really important that you get it rinsed, and then you're going to find disposable paper towels, grab them, turn off the water, thoroughly dry your hands, toss your disposable paper towels, and reach for and grab your 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer. Sanitize it up, and the reason that you're going to sanitize it up is that finishes your hand wash, and then you're going to put on disposable gloves. Now make sure at this point that your hands are dry, because there's nothing worse than putting disposable gloves on hands that are wet. Just feels awful. So taking the time to do this. got our disposable gloves on, and now we're going to assess her eyebrows first, because we're going to do the brows before we do the lip. And I just want to look at the hair growth pattern. So, pretty easy to see on her for me that her brow hair is going out and then down. And same thing up here. Sorry, I just heard something very weird. And then here the hair grows down. Definitely weird. Maybe somebody's here other than me. Probably don't want to scare me, but it's scary. Anyway, okay. So I can tell the pattern of the hair growth. Did that, everything's good. And then what I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and do the first step where we do pre-epilation, where we clean it off, and then follow with powder. And then I'm going to test the wax on myself before I put wax on her. So just so you know, I'm not going to ever, ever, ever put any wax on my client before I test it on myself. Dangerous. So let's get her eyebrow area clean with that pre-epilation step. And what we're doing is we're removing oil, we are removing moisturizer, we are removing makeup, we are removing anything that could affect the efficacy of the waxing. And also we are doing this because it's super important that we take these steps in order to protect the skin so we don't hurt the client. So we're going to go ahead and do the entire brow area. First. And then we're going to follow with powder because we need it to be super duper, super duper dry. And what that's doing is protecting the skin. So definitely, definitely want to make sure you do this step. It's not only preparing, it's protecting. Never, never want to wax on wet or damp skin. Dry, 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 dry. Everything's perfectly dry and matte. I can see how matte it is. Looks great. And then now we're going to test the wax, and we're going to test it on me first. So we're testing the temperature of the wax, and we're going to test it on the inside of my forearm here. And it feels good. So let's remove that. And now we're going to go to our client, and we can go ahead and get started on the brow because I know the wax felt great. So that's my next step. So let's get in here and apply wax to the client. And you're going to apply wax in the direction of the hair growth. So we're applying out, and then we're going to apply down. So we're doing both out and then down. And then we're going to apply the wax strip. and we're going to press down in the direction of the hair growth, and then we're going to remove in the opposite direction. So you're going to hold the skin tight, and then we're going to remove away from the hair growth and press. And what the press does, it takes away that little sting for the client. So this is a different direction, a little bit more up. Holding the skin tight, remove, press. And that's pretty good. There are some hairs that I'm going to need to tweeze, but generally it looks pretty good. So let's do the top of the brow now. Same thing, we're going to get that wax. We're going to put our stick down at about a 45-degree angle, and then we'll let the wax come down off the stick, and then we'll spread it out. Spreading it out. And I've got my wax strip here, applying it. Gonna hold the skin nice and tight, remove it away from the hair growth, press. Hold my skin tight, remove, press. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my remove product where it gets that excess wax off and remove any of that residue or excess wax. You don't want to leave it on. We need to do that before we go in and tweeze. So I'm getting a cotton around, getting my tweezers, and I'm going to go in, and I'm actually going to tweeze and remove the hair in the direction of the hair growth. So this side is okay for now. We're going to move on. We're going to do all this stuff, and then we're going to do all this stuff, and then we're going to go back and soothe everything out. So let's do our other side. And we're going to hold the skin tight. And remove and press. Remove and press. in the direction of the hair growth. Hold the skin tight before you remove it. Press. Hold it tight and press. And then I too will be using that remove here. Get your tweezers, clean up any extra hairs that need to be tweezed. So we need to remove the hair that's in the center of the brow now. So that hair grows down, so we're going to apply the wax down. And apply pressure in that direction. Hold the skin tight, remove and press. And then we're going to take a little bit of our remove. And we need to do a little tweeze, but pretty much it looks pretty good here. Just a little bit of baby hairs on the inside. Okay. And now it's time to really soothe her and calm her down at the top. So let's do that. Let's add a little soothe for her, a little Uzi post epilation, little in the direction of the hair growth. Oh yes, that's so nice. And then we will relax there and move on down to the lip. And obviously it's the same client, so I won't be checking the temperature of the wax before I start waxing. I would do it for every client every time. But I'm going to analyze first, and I'm just looking at the hair growth on the lip, and really it's not that complicated for her. I see it going out, I see it going down, I see a little bit of growth going down. So that's the way that I'm going to remove the hair. So you want to do exactly the same thing with the upper lip that you did with the brow and get it ready first. So that pre-evolution is the first step. We're preparing and protecting the skin. So we're going to take off any makeup, oils, SPF, all nice and fresh and clean, getting that skin really, really clean. Never want to skip these steps. And then we're going to, of course, dry it completely using our powder. And that's really protecting that skin and protecting the client from any harm, okay? So I'm going to start on this side, and I'm going to apply the wax in the direction of the hair growth. So we're going to go out, and then over here we're going to go down a little bit. So let's get started with that. And then I'm going to remove the hair in that opposite direction. So I am going to hold the skin tight and then pull the wax removal strip away from the hair growth. So away towards the nose, and then press. And this area is definitely tingly, stingly. It's not my favorite place to get waxed. That being said, so I'm going to try to be conscientious for my client and move through it quickly so that she or he doesn't have to struggle with the pain. Hold it tight, rip, and press. Just be mindful of that. And because it's just the lip, it's not too separate, you're going to wax the whole thing before you do that wax residue remover and tweeze. You're not going to do side to side. You're going to get that thing knocked out because nobody wants to draw this process out. Hold the skin tight, remove and press. Hold the skin tight, remove and press. And then we have that little center of the lip to do, where it dips down, it grows down, and there's a little bit of extra hairs up there that grow down as well. Okay. And so we're going to hold the skin tight, up and press. Okay, let's do any post little wax residue remover here. And we're going to do some tweezing. Not much to do, just a little bit here. And I'm tweezing in the direction of the hair growth. I find that it's kind of like up by the nose. Of course, that's super painful. All right, all done. She was a trooper. She always is. She never complains. Not once, not ever, not ever. So let's put our little post-epilation soothe on now. Calm this all down. Okay. So I feel really good about it. I think she looks amazing. So I'm going to present her with the mirror, let her see how good everything looks. Oh, yes, she's impressed. She's ready for her next appointment. She looks like a fresh as daisy, smooth skinned baby. She loves it. So let's get her situated so we can get her checked out. Take off her headband, get off her drape, and then she will go with you to check out. So let's remove our gloves. They're disposable. We're going to throw them away. And then we are going to get her checked out. We're going to talk about maintenance and any aftercare needs. She'll pay. And then she's good to go. And you have a million clients today, so you got to get back to that room and you got to get situated. So let's talk about what happens when you get back to the room. The first thing you're going to do is toss any single use items. Okay, this is kind of freaking me out. In the trash, and then you're going to get your implements and you're going to store them in a closed container labeled to be disinfected. You are going to take all your linens, put them in a closed container until it's time to do laundry. You will locate proper cleaning agent, read the manufacturer's directions, follow the manufacturer's directions for mixing and usage, wipe down your workstation with a cleaning solution to remove debris, identify disinfectant that is bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal, EPA approved for use in a salon setting. Follow manufacturer's directions for mixing and or using appropriate aerosol disinfectant. Disinfect electrical equipment, store it in a clean area separate from other implements, and then wash your hands. Now you would have had disposable gloves on for the disinfectant, so throw them away. Wet your hands under the sink, get that liquid hand soap, wash your hands together down to the wrist, wash the back of your hands down to the wrist. You're going to wash your fingers, you're going to wash the backs of your fingers, you're going to wash between your fingers and your thumb, you're going to wash your fingertips and your nails, you are going to wash your thumbs, you're going to wash your wrists. You're going to do all of that for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds, and then you're going to get disposable paper towel, turn the water off, completely dry those hands, toss the disposable paper towels, and then find that 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer and go for it, and you're going to finish that process. So that's the conclusion of your lip and eyebrow wax video, and then you can move on to set up for your next client.